Now the way this is going to work, you can ask questions of any one of the people you see up on stage. I'll just get it started with a simple one. This one's for Porn Stats. Why don't you tell everybody how you started in the wrestling business?
Dave, you don't have a mic. You don't have a mic, dude. There you go.
I have a mic now. My name's Peter.
Oh, that's right. I apologize.
You gonna tell everybody you still gotta go to wrestling school? Oh shit.
Just a little bit. I gotta learn how to do a schoolboy yet.
Dumbass just put a mic in my phone with a drink.
That's okay, you can keep talking.
No, the question's yours, fucknut.
No, honestly, I started up north in Green Bay. I started up there, getting trained up there for a person that we won't name because nobody likes him, honestly. I'm sure everybody on this panel that at least 3 of the 4 can agree.
Name him! Name him!
Hey, this is a shoot, asshole. These people don't want to hear what you don't want to know. They want to hear the truth. Tell them what the fuck going on. Jesus Christ. If the promoter was a piece of shit, tell him he's a piece of shit.
Everybody knows who Bruno is, right? Everybody knows what a piece of shit he is, right?
Who the fuck's Bruno?
That's why I said 3 out of 4.
Okay, clue me in. I've only been here a decade.
No, that's a long story. We'll be here all day.
Alright, please, let's not bore.
Why is he a piece of shit?
Facebook? Fuck Facebook.
You're not on the show if you don't get a Facebook invite or you're not on the poster.
I'm not getting one because I hate Facebook.
But anyways, that's where I started. I was up there getting trained by TW3, if you're familiar with him.
Who's that guy?
Thomas Walton.
Oh, okay.
He's black.
Who's that guy? Okay, you got trained by a black guy on the street. Alright. Now we're getting enterfucking.
But initially, that's who I was getting trained by, was Thomas Walton. I don't know, I learned how to eat chicken.
Hey, dipshit, you're not in this convo. Shut up.
But eventually, I came down here to Milwaukee. You guys are familiar with Matt Winchester, Dinty Moore. Wow, I'm getting...
Hey, now, goddamn boobs. We look, Dinty's the shit. He takes all kind of bumps. I know Dinty, at least.
Too many bumps.
But I went under his more capable wing, and there's not much to say about it. Here I am. I like this guy's mustache right here, though. Did you shave it just for today?
Just for today.
Awesome. Give that guy a round of applause.
Get him on stage!
Anybody got any questions? Just put your hands up. I'll bring the mic over. Oh boy, this is not going to be good.
Don't go to the black guy. Don't go to the black guy.
Go black guy!
I see the boys are answering the question.
Yeah, this should be interesting. All right, here we go.
Why does Wayne Brady hate black people?
Don't listen to him, he's black!
I heard him.
This is for everybody.
No, he's throwing a porn stash.
Why does Wayne Brady hate black people?
Because he is black? Correct. Do I get a point for that?
Okay. No, I have a serious question. Mr. Pornstash, is it?
Stash, it's Mr. Stash.
Mr. Stash. Is it true that your mom was a stripper?
Hey, so what? The bitch made money. At least you won't get low. How the fuck you gonna hate on a woman getting naked, goddamn? What the hell country we live in?
Well, to be fair...
Bitch got naked, she got paid. So what?
I was just saying it was related to how he became the Pornstash. And all his eccentrics.
So that's part of your gimmick with your mom? That's awesome, hey.
You gotta let me gimmick, brother.
Wish my mom was a hooker.
From what I hear, she doesn't charge much anymore.
I don't know.
55 years old, you can't charge much for saggy tits.
We have a question down here.
Hi, I'm Shane.
Hi, Shane.
Hi, Shane.
I'm missing a mustache. I hope that's not going to be taken against me.
No, you're good.
You can buy one for $1.
My question is for Chase McCoy.
Oh, shit.
Have you ever been properly institutionalized?
Actually, this is true. I have.
Okay. All right, put it this way.
We aren't going
But I have. Why you gotta bring up old shit, asshole? Jesus Christ. So, anyway, we're gonna put a show. Yes, wrestlers, we take Xanaxes, and we're a little crazy, and we like to get drunk. Okay, next.
True story.
Another question.
So, was you locked up in a straitjacket? Did you get anal raped? Like, what the fuck? Answer the guy's question.
Neither one of those.
Anal rape in institution?
I don't know, we're asking.
Sounds like one of movies. Sounds like a place I need to be.
Spent a week in an institution for mental issues, and
You didn't get anal raped?
no, none, not whatsoever.
All right, good, that's good.
I walked around in
Good.
slippers for a week.
Slippers?
They
I
were
walked
very
around in
comfortable.
slippers every
They were
day.
Milwaukee Bucks sneaker slippers.
Oh, sweet. So you're a full hometowner. You're a Bruins Bucks fan till you die.
They're in the playoffs.
Yep.
They're in the playoffs.
They are.
All right, next question.
Corp, I got one for you.
Oh, shit.
Give me your side of the JCW story.
All right. God damn, do we got an hour to tell this whole fucking story? Do I gotta tell how big of a dick Joe Bruce is that what y'all wanna know? Alright, well, I guess, alright, let me do a shot here and I'll get in the whole fucking story. We're only talking about a decade here of shit.
There we go. I don't even have to talk.
Alright, so look,
That's because nobody wants to hear you speak.
the shoot on the JCW deal was, I've been with them guys is probably about 10, 15 years. I was pretty much Joe's right hand. Handled every day-to-day operations. We handled JCW. From the clowns to setting up on stage to doing whatever the fuck you needed. We're pretty much loyal. Psychopathic was the shit for the first about 6, 7 years. Then I went through a switch where Billy Bill took over from Alex, the house got shot up. See, this is in-depth shit. Like, it's gonna take me a lot longer to tell the whole fucking story.
Tell the whole fucking story.
But, anyway, y'all know, I mean, I was pretty much one of the first indie guys to promote Joe and them stuff. I was dialed in and I love the fans. The crowds were super hyped. It reminded me a lot of the East Coast style wrestling. Which I grew up on was, the ECW style things with Tommy and, Rob and all them guys up there. And JCW really emulated that fact. The crowd was into everything, and it didn't matter wherever we went in the country, they were behind no matter whatever we did. It was the shit. So I wanted to make it the best we could. I got a lot of the indie guys shots in front of, 5,000 to 10,000 people. It depended on it. A lot of these guys up here got to do shows in front of crowds they never got to do with. The shitty part was loyalty don't mean shit in this business. There's a bro code where you stay loyal to the guys that stay loyal with you. There's a new age wave of things where people just start worrying about themselves. With Joe and them, it's a little deeper. You don't want to burn bridges in this business because you don't know where you're going to be in the next couple of years. And, I'm just coming back off a major injury. I've been out for 8 months. There's surgery, all that crazy shit. And with these guys, for so long, loyalty did mean a lot. So I was all about it. I was there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. A lot of these guys, I get called. I go from Detroit to fucking Wisconsin, back to Indy, back to here, fly in and out, and I was there for them. The problem was, once I got hurt, the major incident that went down was at the Hammerstein Ballroom in New York, and it was a show, it wasn't even a wrestling show. And the stagehand had kicked my legs out, and I dropped about 14 feet, woke up in a New York City hospital. And it was a huge reality check, because they were like, you might not be able to wrestle no more. I didn't hear from these guys for about 2 months. I lay in the hospital bed for about 2 straight months and didn't hear shit from them. Nothing at all. A show had went down, it had hatchet attacks. The JCW side of things was crazy, the clown thing. So Joe came back, was like, Corp, he was sitting on my front step in Farmington Hills, Michigan, bawling his eyes out because shit was going downhill. So I decided to go back. I was like, I even shoved the fucking 2 months we had with my wife and kid there to the side and still did it. problem was Billy and the office people didn't want to get paychecks. They just seemed to, it waited for here, there, whatever, 2-3 weeks without your check and you're putting in 80 hours a week. That's a bullshit tactic. In the old days, we kicked the shit out of somebody for that. And I felt that it wasn't reserved. So I came back under the impression everything was going to be handled, everything was going to be good, all this shit. And the same thing happened. And it led into a deal where we did another season of JCW, and I decided to come back. In fact, I don't even remember, Tommy, the ECW Arena was going to be the comeback show, but they shut down the arena. So that show had gotten canceled and moved back to Detroit. And then we set this whole angle up with me and Rudy. Now the thing with Rudy is this is the guy that lived strictly off of ICP's name. He was the booker there for the first 10 years. And he's just a piece of shit. He never got trained. He never was a wrestler. He never did anything to earn respect or pay his dues in this business whatsoever. So I took personal offense to the fact of him trying to put himself over on shows and things like that. So when the opportunity came up to where they're like, hey, Corp, will you fight Rudy at Bloody Mania? Oh, fuck, we're talking about 10,000 people, and I'm going to really kick the fucking shit out of this guy. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that was as shoot as can be, and we made it legit, PWN, so everybody covered the whole deal. So what had happened was Joe and Joey at the new album, Mighty Death Pop, was just dropping last year, so we did a deal in LA for about 4 weeks, and then we did a deal in New York City. So they owed me for 3 weeks. And the gathering had come up. Well, I still hadn't got my check. So when I showed up to the gathering, the whole shoot on the matter was every year for the last about 10 years, I have about 10 people we throw on the guest list. I handle our guest list, and that's just the way it always goes. People take care of us in this business, and we take care of them. That's just the way it rolls. And a kid that was there, Billy, had talked to the guy. So then they put it into where I had sold like 1,000 tickets to try to cover this up, which was insanity because we're talking about $100,000, and if I had $100,000, I wouldn't have needed to do the fucking wrestling show. That's for goddamn sure. I would have told him to fly a kite. So I went to the gathering regardless. Still showed up to do the date because it was publicized to everybody. There was 8-foot posters of us in the fucking deal. I showed up with Billy and them on that Sunday before the Bloody Mania. It was like, pay me. You owe me for 3 weeks. When you pay me, I'll put my boots on. They're like, we're not paying you. I told them, fuck off. When you pay me, I'll do the shit. They're like, we'll pay you after the show. Well, any wrestler knows you get paid after the show. They've already got your shit, so it ain't gonna go down like that. So, bottom line is a bunch of controversy got started. I told them to fuck off. We're at the point now where not only did they fuck me over, they fucked Twisted over, they fucked Blaze over, they fucked ABK over, and pretty much everybody's left, and that's where it's at this moment in time. I love Joe and them to death for fucking over a decade. Like I said, I almost took a bullet for him on many occasions. I just didn't do the wrestling aspect. I also did the day-to-day life. I also ran our fucking company from every inch, and that's a lot of shit. So that's pretty much the shoot on that angle was they didn't have my money for the last 3 weeks. I refused to wrestle. They were like, whatever, and they flew me home. So that's how it all went fucking down.
All right. Bobby, question for you. Biggest crowd you've ever worked in front of? Hey, baby. Biggest crowd you've ever worked in front of and the coolest moment you've ever had as a pro wrestler?
Is anyone here familiar with Mondo Lucha? Hey! Probably one of the greatest crowds I've ever worked in front of. Also, one of the coolest moments I've ever had in my career. We can call it a career. Yeah, you think so? Yeah, no, you're a sweetheart. Wrestled in front of like close to 1,000 people from Mondo Lucha at Turner Hall. Got like a huge like Hulk Hogan reception there. Probably one of the coolest moments I've ever had. Wrestled Ara Davari and some black kid, I can't remember his name.
Why you gotta be racist?
Yeah, I'm sorry, bro. But it was a really yeah. It was on 4th of July. I take that, not 4th of July, it was on September 11th, and Ara is an Arab. So he got so much heat, and when I came out in Rocky Balboa, a whole Rocky Balboa get up, and I had my goat mask on, and it just got, people just...
Wait, you're the goat?
Huh?
You're the goat?
What?
I didn't say that. I did not say that. Breaking the fourth wall. You quit. But yeah, that would cover the area for both biggest audience I've ever wrestled in front of, and probably the biggest. Yeah. Oh, I got squashed at the gathering, dude. You can't. But yeah, that cover it.
That does, absolutely. I got an anonymous
Do the fans
question.
have any questions?
I'm coming over. A fan
You're
was
just
too
gonna hog
shy
the
to
questions
come up
from the
here.
fans or what?
A fan wanted me to ask Chase McCoy where you broke into the business and who your influences were in that company.
In that company?
Yeah. If you had any.
You get a response for that, Chase? This is solid. Tell them about the casket match, dude.
Well, yeah.
Tell them about the casket match.
You mean 3 months into knowing nothing? I started in this little company called Powerhouse Pro Wrestling, most known as Mortyville.
Excellent, Mortyville, baby.
Yeah, and there was not much influence that I can say that I got from that company.
What was your worker name at that point? What was your worker name? Can I ask that?
That's
Why are you being a dick? I just want to know, you're just being a fucking dick. He already said nobody was his influence. They were the drizzling shits. Not next.
So 9 months in, a guy named Mickey McCoy convinced me to branch out, and I got in contact with guys like Dinty Moore and Silas Young, started getting real training, and did camps with like the likes of Austin Aries and Sean Davari, and absolutely. So yeah, I will appease you on this one, Bobby B, but you're gonna owe me, because my first worker name was Beach Bum Chaz.
Beach Bum Chaz.
We have a question over here.
Hello. I don't think I have to introduce myself to you guys. Bobby.
Who are you?
But no, you don't need to know.
Who are you? She's a hot chick talking. Shut the fuck up.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
But I love her!
I don't love you. Sorry. And I normally love everybody.
Don't get her pregnant!
Pitbull shot down again.
Holy shit. Why are you calling out the rats like that?
Taller than 5'7". Sorry. No, my question is for Chase. All right, I've seen you wrestle in so many matches, crazy stipulations. I don't keep track. All right, I just know he's psycho. Is there a match you regret doing, or a match that you would love to do that you have not done? You've done some crazy ass matches.
Match that I regret having?
I got a couple. We won't get into that in a minute.
I would say, how about a show that I regret doing about a month and a half ago in this building, Just Jake Wrestling? Although I got paid well, it was very stupid and sucked.
Dude, you really worked for that guy? I swear to God, if a guy called me up named Just Jake and said, hey, I'm gonna book you.
If I told you how much money I got out of that guy, you'd
All right,
say
I
it's okay.
may have took the booking.
Yo, you would've.
I just had to bring up, that's a douchebag name.
And as far as a match that I haven't done that I would like to do, I think I've done most matches, but I would like to do a one-on-one TLC match. I've done a tag team one. I'd like to do a singles TLC match.
Hey, wait a minute, are we wrestling soon?
I think so.
Oh, shit.
Any other questions? Put your hand up. I'll find you. Over here we go.
I have a question for Stash. The next time I see you, you promise to give me another lap dance?
I will give you whatever you want.
That covers a lot of topics.
It covers a lot of topics, including mustache rides.
You gotta eat it before you stick it, I guess.
Wait, what was that? No, I'm going in dry. Bite the pillow.
Hey, it's Shane again.
All right, Shane, shoot.
All right, two things. First of all, why aren't we doing this lap dance thing now to get it out of the way? She obviously mentioned it for a reason, so she wants it.
DJ Bob, hit that music.
That's the most work that guy's done in a year.
Music didn't even hit yet.
Are you fucking serious? You're taking the shit off? Hey, boss, can I get a drink? Please? Fucking Red Bull, I got you. Coors Light. Please, I'm dry.
Bobby wants a glass of water.
That's your gimmick, you dance on me, guy. Alright, dance on the guy, there you go. Why'd you knock my cigarette out, you fuck?
All right, that was the first thing. Secondly, my question goes to Bobby V this time. Hi. Hi there.
Wait, Bobby's here? Yeah. No,
Here, Bobby.
didn't realize. Nobody realized.
I did.
It's been about
She's got a reason.
Oh, yes.
it's been about close to a decade, but I think my detective work is coming to fruition here because at one point I think you were Spider Boy. Were you the man under the mask?
No comment, man. No comment. Actually,
Hey,
yeah.
are you Spider Boy?
For way back for Carmine Despirito, way back in the day, I broke in under a mask, Spider-Man mask. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Does that answer your question? El Spider Nino, I believe was the name.
All right, here's
Nino.
a question. Anybody up
Not even
there?
Hispanic.
Anybody can answer this one on the stage. What made you decide to get into the professional wrestling business?
Whores. Whores.
Oh, shit. See, I grew up down south, so I grew up on the USWA kind of stuff with Jerry Lawler and Jerry Jarrett, Bill Dundee, and Jamie and Wolfie and these guys. And I was just coming out of the Marine Corps. And Doug Gilbert was a good friend of mine, and Tommy Rich. Now they're good friends of mine. At the point where I broke in, they wasn't. They were just really awesome heels, and I was a fucking mark. And they came out talking shit one night, and we had just gotten home from Iraq. And as a typical heel does, they come up and said Marines were a bunch of pussies. Well, I was drunk, and there was 3 Marines with me, so we were down to fight. And I threw a punch. It was super quick. It hit Doug, kind of fucked the shit up a little bit, and of course security drug us out, and they drug us out back, which is the weird thing. The other 3 they let go, and they drug me out back. And Doug Gilbert and Brian Christopher was there, and Jamie and Wolfie, and they were like, "Look, that's one of the fastest punches I ever seen. Have you ever thought about getting in the wrestling business?" And that's how I broke in. I ended up going to the USWA wrestling school, learning how to work. And then IWA Mid-South had started growing up, and that's when Ian Rotten, they got back from the ECW days and started doing the deathmatch shit in Louisville. And we were drawing really good. And we stopped, and Lawler had sold the company to 2 different guys. So when we showed up to TV in Memphis, because and down south we used to do, it was Memphis and then Nashville, then Evansville, then Louisville, and you know, that was the rip back then. And I got lucky and broke in the right time to learn with a bunch of great vets and learn the respect of the business. And the thing I wanted to do was shock people, and I think I accomplished that mission pretty well over the last few years. And you know, the deathmatch style was the way I went, and that's where we're at.
I was about 4 years old when I saw Piper smack Snugga with a coconut, and I was hooked ever since then. I have since met both of them, which was pretty cool. Piper, I actually got to sit down.
Piper's great.
Yeah, I actually got to sit down and have a lengthy conversation. He watched one of my matches and gave me critique on it, which was pretty cool. But I would have to say...
Brian Knobs is a dick. Period.
I would have to say, and it may be cliche, but I watched the Rockers, and Shawn Michaels growing up was definitely the guy I watched. And
Michael's one of the best workers in the business by far.
And then not realizing it growing up, but now looking back, I also took a liking to Kurt Hennig, even though I hated him as a kid.
One of the best workers ever. Mustache
On
Rider.
to you.
Mustache Ride?
Got your new name, Mustache Rider.
I would say when I was about 2 years old, I was turned what?
Look, every time you go to the bar, you got to come back with shots, asshole. We got to get drunk. The more we get drunk, the more we spill, because we don't give a fuck who we piss off.
I have soda.
Get the fuck out of here.
Soda!
Vodka! Screw your soda.
Hey, that's fine. At least it's Mountain Dew. It's the old
Do
Mountain Dew.
you at least smoke pot?
Used to.
Used to my... God, you're a lame ass.
Whoa!
It's fucking 420. We smoke pot. Kids, do not do what I say. I'm not a good influence. I drink and I smoke pot, and I quit taking pills. But
No wonder why Boyle's doing it.
who? Oh, Dino? Yeah. I never smoked with Dino.
No, but he is.
I do too. My bad. It does good, man. Okay. Yeah, I'm a bad influence. So what? I never claimed to be a role model, ever. I've never been like, I even tell my own daughter, do not be like that. That is not the right thing to do. Okay, back to what we're talking about.
That's okay. Anyways, I was 2 years old. I watched my first wrestling show with my father. Since then, he had passed away when I was young. I was only 6 years old. Wrestling has always been a thing that I always tie back to him because I was so young. It's one of my only, well, I have memories, but not very many. So when I had the opportunity to finally receive the training, and like you were saying, one thing I want to make a comment on, a lot of the people that are breaking in nowadays don't have respect for the business and don't pay their dues, and that's one thing that I pride myself on. And
Nathan
I think
Gust.
Sean Priest.
Yep.
The black guy
I kicked
standing
the
up.
shit out of him. Just had to say.
The Mark Brooker Bruno. But anyways, I mean, that had a big influence on why I broke in. I've loved wrestling ever since then. Obviously, we all start out at... Bronson Bay is one of them. Thank you, black guy. But I mean, it had a really big influence. And aside from, you know, we all started off as marks in some way, shape, or form. Obviously, you know, you like the Rockers, Kurt Hennig. You're a little bit older than me, so mine was more so Undertaker, Stone Cold.
Hey, dickhead, don't bring up age in this conversation.
I'm young compared to you guys. I'm a whippersnapper.
Shut up. I just said, you want punched you.
Bobby's younger than me? You are younger than me?
Bobby?
Yeah. I'm younger than you, dude. I'm 25, dude.
Yeah, you're a
We're
young
the same
fuck.
age. Holy shit.
All you bastards are kids.
Why am I up here?
Jesus Christ.
Yes. Yes. That is awesome.
That's the most over you ever been in your life.
That's the most you ever wear. That's like a meerkat coat.
Hey, I'm not telling this cocksucker to take his shirt off.
You got small nipples.
I do.
Why the fuck are we talking about guys' nipples? Next question, please.
All right, I got time for 2 more questions. We got one right here.
Okay, this question can be answered by all the 4 wrestlers. If each of you had an opportunity, both indie and professional, to, for your ideal tag team partner, could you each one give the 2 guys that you would want to be with?
I'll go last.
Oh, thanks, dickhead. Oh, man. Ideal partner? Man, I know.
Will someone shut up that black guy?
An ideal partner. I've been a solo guy my whole career, other than wrestling with Too Tough Tony and a few others. Who? I did tag with you one time. He was pretty good. Ideal? I mean, what are we talking about? I mean, we can go back in the last 10 years to now to, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a bunch. Like, I mean, I loved working with Mick Foley when he was around. You know, Mick Foley's one of the greatest of all time. It was an honor to be in the ring with him. I was just pissed off that he was already through his career right when I was kicking off. I'd have loved to do some deathmatch shit with him. It was an honor being with Terry Funk at the Gathering and him being my, walking me out to the ring and shit. Terry's one of the best of all time and the greatest ever, and one of the nicest guys I've ever been around in my life. Working Scott Hall, teaming with Scott Hall, that was great. You know, Scott was awesome to be with these guys' issues, but Scott's one of the best guys in the world too. I love all them old timers, you know. The best thing about old timers and guys that taught us is the respect of the business and being with these guys, you know, and being able to spend time on the road with these guys like Tracy and Tommy and you know, Brian and all them guys is the experiences you learn with them. So, I mean, I could give a list of tag team partners I'd love to be in the ring with. The bottom line of the answer is all of them. You know what I'm saying? If I could take the chance to be in with every great that was ever in there and learn 10 seconds from them to improve myself, that's what I did. You know, and you know, I love all these guys. I respect the vets. I wouldn't be able to feed my family if it wasn't for these guys. You know what I'm saying? And I tried to leave that legacy for the guys that are below me, the same one. You know, because there's not very many that's got respect for this business and what it really stands for. There's not guys that are super stand-up guys. There's like a handful of them you can talk about that'll do that. But we're a brotherhood. We live and we die together. We travel together, and we put on shows for you guys.
As far as tag team partners go, I've had a few nice ones in the indies. Me and Mickey had a nice run. Me and Dysfunction, quite the tag team. Absolutely. As far as professional-wise, like I say, Shawn Michaels and Kurt Hennig would be ideally. As far as like my 10-year-old inner child would say, the Ultimate Warrior. And I also think
that's fucking awesome because everybody hates him, but he was gimmick with this shit.
Absolutely.
He was such an asshole in the business and with the boys, but that gimmick was sure the fuck over.
I also think an interesting partner would be Chase McCoy and Corporal Robinson.
Nobody would work us because we kicked the shit out of them. We got to talk to Kurt about that.
I know
Kurt, we're going for the gold.
I know you didn't see the picture, but you had a fro earlier, and I want to tag team with that. Just your fro.
Look. The fro is seasonal shit.
That one. That is awesome. I want that. You need to bring that back.
That was big. You know, now the true story on that was I was doing an angle with Raven to where he shaved my head in Evansville and shit, and they were like, "Can you grow your hair out?" And I was like, "Well, shit, I got natural curly fucking hair. I'll grow it out." He was like, "Look, we'll give you $1,000 if you let us shave it." Well, fuck, come on, that's hookers, drugs, and next week's rent. I'll shave my head. So yeah, that's where that damn fro came from, and I don't know who I was cussing out there, but I'm sure it was somebody. I always swear, you put a mic in my hand, do not make it PG, all right? If I'm doing a PG show, I'm just not grabbing the mic because I'm not going to be able to cut. Yeah, I can cut a promo without cussing, but it's very rare.
I've never heard it.
Bullshit. I've done promos without cussing. Well, I don't have to watch my mouth here. Jesus Christ. Yeah, but I have cut promos without cussing. It's very rare.
I don't believe it.
I swear to you. Dave Hero, I'm going to do a show for you, okay? Just show him I can do a promo without cussing. All right, Dave? We good? He's like, fuck you, Corp. I ain't paying you shit. Yeah, he's smiling, going, you cocksucker ain't working for me.
He's rubbing his chin. He's thinking about it.
Wait till his next TV show. He's like, yeah, that guy Corp, fuck him. All right, next.
But as far as the tag team, you guys are obviously familiar with the way I broke in with 2 dudes, 1 stash.
You like 2 dudes and 1 stash? You made that public knowledge, you
From
dumbass.
time to time, I guess. If I have to, if the pay's good.
Why would you admit that in front of people? What? That's your gimmick. I expected you like guys, but damn, I didn't know him. All right, fine. Next match, me and Chase versus the 2 fags. I guess that's where we're gonna go.
Are we actually coming out as the fags? 2 fags, 1 stash?
2 fags and 1 stash.
I don't know. That's what I'm hearing from the black guy again.
Gay porn?
Gay porn?
Gay porn?
Psycho porn?
Look, I swear to God, you guys come out to us using gay porn, we're really fucking y'all up. I'm just telling you, like, we're not working at all. Like, I'm gonna hate you.
So that...
Why do I hate you? Because you're talking about gay porn. Wow. Che, I swear to God on everything I love, I'm not working these 2, it's a shoot.
Alright. But anyways, you guys know that story, and obviously he's not around anymore. Unmentionable, ripped Robbie. But my pick, I have 2 picks. The first one is a little obvious, it'd be Val Venus. I think that would be a very...
Hell of a worker. You got it, Val's hell of a worker.
The second one would actually be...
Hey, black guys, shut up before I start fucking getting on their side.
Yeah, this isn't a movie theater, dude.
Don't you have some child support to pay for?
Suck.
But my next one would be Marty Jannetty.
One of the most unrespected best guys on the planet.
I agree.
Marty,
that guy
What do
is
you
a
mean,
hoot.
no?
I love Marty.
Have you seen Marty lately?
He is nuts, but he's a great fucking guy. Fuck you, dude.
No, he's honest.
He's also will be more over than you'll ever be in your lifetime, asshole.
Boom sauce.
Nobody's disagreeing with that.
You've changed, brother.
Yeah, you've changed.
What's wrong with being nuts in the wrestling business? Like, when did that become a problem?
I think it's Gay Bar's turn.
Gay bar.
Gay Bar.
Hi, my name is Bobby.
Gay Bar.
If I were gonna pick anybody on the Indies, past or present, I would probably go with. Let's see. Thank you.
I'm right here, Bobby.
Oh, outside Nathan Gus.
JP's over
One of the most charismatic guys that I've seen in the business. He's passed away now. Sweet and Sour. Yeah, Larry Sweeney. And as far as names go, one of the guys I would love to work with in a tag team would be Goldust. Dave Hero Flood.
Not to be confused with Peter B.
Yeah, or Peter B. Beautiful. Either way.
Fucking Peter B. Beautiful.
You got a story about that?
I got a ton of stories about
Did
that.
I open up a can of worms here?
Can we get a Mid-American story about Peter B. Beautiful, please? Does anybody?
Yeah, we'll make that the last question. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Corporal, give us
Oh, shit.
It's always fun.
Peter B. Oh. Was you guys around in the Mid-American days of the Knights of Columbus? So you guys remember the time when we hated shit talkers and guys that couldn't back it up? And Peter B. Beautiful, when he first started, thought it'd be a smart idea to get online and say that he would knock myself and Ian Rodden and a couple IWA mid-side guys out, and that he would fuck us. Yeah, that he would fuck us up in public. So what we did was, Carmine, being the booker he was at the time, was like, Court, I got an idea. I'm gonna bring in Peter B. Beautiful. What do you think? Well, what I thought was, we're gonna kill this bastard. And at that time, I had the Mid-American World title, and I was setting up an angle with Ian Rodden, because I'd done beat his fat ass a few times, and he had disappeared for like a month. So Carmine was setting up guys for me to destroy for about 3 weeks straight. And Peter B. Beautiful happened to be one of them. And he showed up and came up to me and said, "Hey, Court, pleasure to meet you. I said some shit about you on the internet. What are we going to do?" I'm like, "Well, it's pretty simple. I'm going to beat the fuck out of you." And I was like, "You run your mouth that you're a badass. You want to talk shit. You already passed the bro code of us working shit out. So if you're that big of a badass, we're going to play your music. They're going to play my music, and we're going to see how that works out for you." Well, how it worked out for you was me beating the shit out of him for about 10 minutes and busting his face and nose and mouth and jaw and everything else I could fucking punch in 10 minutes. I decided to light his head up. Ian, it got booked at the King of the Death match down south, and Ian hit him with like 25 chair shots to the face. And by the time that was done, Peter B. finally had earned respect for the business because he was a jack off and got his fucking ass kicked. And actually now he's running some pretty decent shows. I did a few of them. So actually the guy, and he's not that bad of a worker, I'll put that publicly. But he used to be a piece of shit and we kicked the shit out of him, but now he's pretty decent, and that's where it's at.
All right. Just for the record, I'm his champion. Just for the record.
I gave the full story. I like Peter now. I had a couple shows there. I banged 2 bitches and a couple rats, and it's a good show.
Don't the Milwaukee guys have all Peter's titles right now?
I think so.
Milwaukee guys are used to carrying belts. It's kind of our idea.
I've got the alternative, the Americans. Who's got the tag title? Inkjets, right?
I know I beat the shit out of him a couple weeks ago.
All right, fans, let's hear it for these gentlemen up here.
Now let's get drunk, assholes.
That's right. Bobby V, Corporal Robinson, Chase McCoy, Porn Stash. Fans have a lot of questions. I just want to get my little mark out moment out of the way. Back when ECW first started running TV, it wasn't on locally here in Milwaukee. We had to go to this bar in West Dallas to find a satellite dish. The place was called Kaz's. I don't know if anybody remembers that. The first show I ever saw, ECW, I was hooked. Tommy Dreamer and Raven were having their feud, so it's a pleasure to have an opportunity to do this. All right, fans, this is your time. Who's got a question? Put your hand up.
Can I just say real quick before we start, to top the 4 guys that were just up here by the end of this Q&A, you have to give her a lap dance in the second row, Tommy. That is the only thing that can for sure top the guys that were just up here.
All right, questions, anybody? Where do we start? All right, Shane again. Here we go, Shane.
That's all right. I'm filled with questions. I'm curious, like a cat. So I guess, to be fair, I guess I'll ask each of you a question, and hopefully you'll answer nicely. For Robbie E., you're a younger guy, you're in this business, you're in a really young company like TNA that's rising above and everything. Yeah. And you've had the opportunity to work with a lot of guys that have been around for a long time. Who has been your favorite seasoned wrestler to have faced off against?
I think the coolest match for me was probably, granted it only lasted about 10 seconds, but versus Kurt Angle, one-on-one on Impact.
No matter how long, it still matters. And then for Tommy, I remember watching on the Rise and Fall documentary that when you had won the ECW title from Taz, that you weren't really happy about that, and you weren't really too keen on being a champion in general within the company. Could you elaborate a little more why it didn't really matter to you to carry the championships in that company at the time?
Championships were for guys to help them make it. I didn't need it. I always wanted to, you know, I was already established in ECW, so it was always kind of help establish somebody else. And, you know, I didn't need it. And so it was also, you know, Tommy Dreamer's character was kind of like Bruce Willis in the movie Die Hard. You know, you go through all these, I'm a regular guy, I go through all these extreme situations, and then what? It's Die Hard 2. Once, how it used to be, once a guy wins the title, where does he go from there? And so for me, and this was all Paul, I will give him all the credit, he told me don't wear the title, don't put the title around your waist, and he's, you know, for all that I did in ECW, there's not one picture, nothing with me wearing the title, and all that Tommy Dreamer did for the company. I can never say that I wore the ECW title, and I was going to continue to try to chase it and always have that chase, because there's really money in the babyface chasing the title, not so much in him winning it. Where you go, like when Tommy Rich first won the NWA title, his career pretty much went downhill in the sense of how do you root for the local boy once he makes good? Same with the Von Erichs, Kerry Von Erich. When he won the title, how do you eventually cheer for the guy if he did it? He accomplished the dream. So it was kind of the sidebar, and for me, I never needed it. So really that was it. And then when I did it in WWE and all that was, excuse me, legit about my contract coming up and all that stuff, I really wanted it to kind of prove to WWE that I was marketable and they could push me, because I was the highest rated guy for the 3 years that ECW was on. But it's all good.
All right, we got a question right here. Melissa?
You weren't supposed to reveal my name, dang you? Love you, Scott. This question's for Tommy. Robbie, I love you, but I don't have cable, so I don't know much about what's going on in TNA. Tommy, just what I've been looking up about you, Paul Heyman put you and Sandman in a Singapore K match where a loser got 10 lashes, but you asked for more than that. What do you think the impact of that for the company and for you was from that match?
That was pretty much, you know, what put me on the map at the time in the United States. There was a real issue. There was an American citizen named Michael Fay or Timothy Fay. He committed a crime in Singapore, and he was going to be publicly caned. And the United States was in an uproar about it, and the kid only took 4 lashes. And so for us to try to, you know, this was before the internet, and we were trying to get national exposure. And so we basically did that, and I agreed to it. And at the time, the fans, they didn't think I was, I guess, tough, or I was very good looking. Now oh, thank you. But they didn't, you know, ECW was different. And the Philly fans, you know, they booed Santa Claus. And I remember the first hit they cheered, the second hit they cheered, the third hit they cheered, and on that 4th hit, when they could see that my back was starting to bleed, and I kept on standing up, they were like, Tommy, stay down. And by the 10th one, and it made my career. I actually took 11 of them. Yeah.
I have a question real quick for Robbie. Tell everybody how you broke into the business. I mean, what got you started? What were some of your early influences that drove you towards professional wrestling?
Well, the first influence that comes to mind is the innovator of violence, Tommy Dreamer. Now, when I liked wrestling my whole life, and then there was a wrestling school that opened up by my house. I was 15. You weren't allowed to start until you were 16. So the day I turned 16, I had to get my parents' signature. Obviously, I didn't drive yet. You got to be 17 to drive. They had to drive me 3 times a week. So yeah, I trained about 3 times a week for, say, 4 months. I had my first match. We did like little student shows at the school. And then just slowly I started to branch out. Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, just did indies around the area and try to make a name for myself. Just kind of, you know, nothing spectacular to the story, just like anyone else. But I did sell 8x10s when I was a junior in high school. because I was 16, so I would go around and sell them to my teachers and other students in high school and try to make myself sound more important than I was. So that kind of helped me get some chicks. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it, man.
Questions? Put your hand up. I'll come on over. Anybody got anything back here? Come on, I know you guys got something.
Not for these guys.
Anybody? There we go.
Yeah, you do. Come on. This is Tommy Dreamer and Robbie E. This guy's gonna ask. Does he buy a Tommy Dreamer shirt?
I am. I bought it. I have two questions. One, both of you, your favorite match, and secondly, did you guys ever face each other?
First one was favorite match, you said? I think the most memorable match, I guess, that sticks out in my head was Turning Point. It was like my third match in TNA. I wrestled Jay Lethal and I won the X Division title. So that was one that stands out. And have I ever wrestled Tommy Dreamer? I have actually wrestled Tommy Dreamer numerous times in TNA. We wrestled at a lot of the live events, and I actually hold, I think, one win over you. But he holds about 40 over me, so.
Yes, we have wrestled. Robbie told me I'm the only guy that sells for him, so I make him look good. My favorite match, I love this. I've been a fan since I'm 9 years old. I could probably name matches that I didn't like more than I don't like. I loved all the stuff I did in TNA with like AJ Styles, Abyss. I'm living my dream still. I'm 42 years old. I love wrestling. I can't say enough. It's the best business in the world.
I have a question for Tommy. Kind of flashing back, I think it was to around 97, when you were in the feud with Raven, and when Jerry Lawler showed up and like, came you right in the nuts, and really, it seemed like he screwed it up and really nailed you. I mean, do you bear any ill will from him, or what was the conversation back in the locker room that night?
Jerry Lawler, he wasn't. You have to understand, this was a much different era. Jerry Lawler wasn't welcomed in our locker room, and he came in from the back. I mean, we had ECW, man. We were crazy, and he also had like security, and he just right to the ring, boom, did that. It was an accident. I love wrestling King. He's one of the best wrestlers of all time. I had to go to the hospital. What happened was, you can find it on YouTube. He hit me in between the legs with the Singapore cane, and he hit me, and it knocked me out. What woke me up was Jim Cornette hitting me in the back with the tennis racket. And when you get hit with such severity, my man area started swelling up, and they were afraid that I was going to have a rupture. So I went to the hospital, and like they're impacting you in ice. And as most of you men know, when you packed your testicles in ice, your man area, your actual penis, was probably the size of a thimble. And my testicles were the size of probably softballs. And they had to drain my testicles, which you never want to see a person with a needle going down there. And I think they pulled like 20 or 30 cc's of blood out of my testicles. It's all fake, always remember this. And it was the two things I remember most was the woman who first had to take care of me, and she goes, "I'm a big fan of yours," and I had to show this big fan who was an attractive woman my thimble-sized penis. And the second one was when you healed, all the blood was dissipating, and I looked like I had the worst form of a venereal disease that I invented, because it went from purple to black and all down my legs, and I still had sexy time with the ladies with the area looking like that. No, it was before cell phones and all that. But yes, it hurt. But no, accidents happen. Taz broke my neck wrestling, and was suplexing me, and the ECW comes with the territory. But I love wrestling, Jim. I hope to have one more match with him.
Okay, I guess I do have a question for Robbie. Yay.
But you're just looking this up on your phone. If you don't know who
No,
he is,
actually, I'm
it's
not.
okay.
I can't. I was actually trying to find the match. I was trying to find Jerry Lawler.
I think they're on Thursdays on Spike TV. Is that right? Is that what we're supposed to publicly
Yes,
tweet?
Thursday at 7
or 8
o'clock on
yeah.
Spike TV. If I can go to my friend's house, I will.
7 o'clock here.
It doesn't matter what you ask now because he just made fun of me, so it's not going to be a good answer. And after his story about his testicles, my answer
Well,
is
you can
nothing
explain
is
your
bigger
Jersey
than
Shore.
I just want to see you give her the lap dance still. That's all I want to see.
It's got to be a double lap dance, actually. I want in on it. He looks good for 42. No, you can explain your Jersey Shore gimmick. How did that come about? You know, why?
There's really no way it didn't come about. I mean, I'm from New Jersey. I still live in New Jersey. My hair is really like this. I go to the gym 6 days a week. I tan a few days a week. I go to all the clubs in Jersey, all the clubs and bars that you see on the Jersey Shore I go to. So it was pretty much, it wasn't rocket science. I pretty much am that, so it is what it is,
And just so to explain to you, the whole Jersey Shore thing, it really isn't a gimmick. I'm an old school Guido from back in the day. I used to go to the Jersey Shore every Labor Day, Memorial Day, 4th of July. And everything that what you saw on TV, those people are they're jerks, just like Robbie. I was one like that. And when tanning boots first came out, you can do a double session for an hour. So I used to tan for 2 hours a day, laying in a tanning booth. Yeah, I was tan. I have some pictures on my phone of a handsome young Tommy Dreamer, Guidoed out with a mullet, a wrestler mullet. That's what we had. Zubaz, yep, we had those. Fanny, that's awesome.
He wears them every show.
Zubaz had made a comeback in Winnipeg and Calgary. I was just up there, and it was me, Carlito, Gangrel. We were the only 3 wrestlers that weren't wearing them. The factories up there, they made a huge killing. You know who used to own that company, by the way? Anybody? Wrestling trivia? Road Warriors had a piece of it. Very good.
My question is for Tommy. What is your opinion on the mass transit incident?
Mass transit incident was in ECW. We had a wrestler who told us he was 18, he was going to have a tryout, and he asked the wrestler named New Jack to cut him, and New Jack pretty much cut him on his forehead. I was there, I had to testify in court, all that stuff. He cut him from here to here, and you probably stick your hand in it that way. And then the kid's father came in the back and wanted to fight us, but that didn't really go over well. New Jack was sued criminally and civilly. He was proven innocent for criminal and proven innocent civilly, which it kind of set a legal precedent in wrestling because, whatever. And it turned out the kid was also a minor. He was 450 pounds, but he was 16 years old. Yeah, we were ECW. We did everything illegal. We let a 16-year-old kid in the ring with New Jack. And but we got away with it. But we had to testify in court, and New Jack was facing like 7 years in prison for a wrestling match, and it was a heavy deal. I actually got to go to the All-Star game in Boston that week. That was a good week.
Tommy, along those same lines, every week you guys reinvented the sport of wrestling when you were in ECW. Did you ever feel the pressure that raising the bar too high, how would you top yourself from week to week or show to show?
When I was doing the whole Brian Lee choke slamming me off of balconies and all that stuff, yes. Because I'm seriously, I would walk into a building like this and I'm like, all right, I'm going to have you throw me from that. And I just go to the floor. New Jack just retired and I climbed up a scaffold in a match in Jersey and I just had him throw me that off for old time's sake. But we used to walk into the building and Jack would be like, I'm going to jump from there. I'd be like, all right, I'm going to get thrown from there. And but we were different. Again, like I said, I've had a great blessed career, and when you're doing it, you don't realize. But now that I reflect upon it, or like coming to the indies, I meet people like you guys have told me today, something that has that either I did or the company that touched your life. And it's very, very rewarding for me because I got to see my life's work unfold and how it affected other people. And, you know, it's great. We did everything, and I wish Sabu should be a multi-millionaire for all he did for the wrestling business. You know, everything that's commonplace with tables, all that stuff, he put that on the map. And you know, I wish a lot of the guys got the due that they deserved because, you know, we were doing it not on national television and WWE, but it's all good.
I have a question that maybe both wrestlers can answer. Which one, if you could tell us, what would you consider to be your craziest road story of your careers?
Instead of each of us answering one, why don't Tommy just tell two? Because there's really no point of me saying anything.
I once made maybe a midget and a giant have sex with a 350-pound black stripper once.
See, that's why I don't have any stories.
All right, you got to understand, we were seriously, ECW, we were crazy. Anything rock star, I don't care what, like, I read Ozzy Osbourne's The Dirt, and, Motley Crue's The Dirt. That was their book, right? Motley Crue, they did The Dirt, and they talked about Ozzy Osbourne snorting, you know, ants, all that stuff, and I was like, I used to call that my weekends. And I was never into drugs or anything like that, but I've lived and seen more crazy things that, you know, there's a lot of guys who are married or they may have been, you know, I have seen things, you know, I've watched a midget and a giant bang the same girl. Come on, that's awesome. And you both know who you are. Or, I mean, again, the business was different. I've guys challenging us to fights. There was a building we used to wrestle in Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania, that there was state troopers who were on their bachelor party, and it was the gangsters versus somebody, and the cop called New Jack the N-word. And we beat the living hell out of everybody. And here the cops come up the mountain. And this wasn't like this, there was a show going. I mean, we used to have a riot probably every 3 to 4 weeks of full-blown riots. And here come the cops, and the only way you could go down the mountain, but here come all the cops, state troopers. And we kicked all the fans out, and we had guns in our faces and challenging cops to fight us and shoot us. And we're like, all right, great, we got it on videotape. Your police officer hit our guy and dropped a racial bomb. Paul's like, my father's a lawyer. You can kill us right here on the mountain, but this tape will be aired. You know, I mean, we did some crazy stuff. I've witnessed drug parties in the sense of who can take the most drugs, and like guys taking 80, 90 pills. Yeah, people. And sadly, those guys aren't around anymore. You know, but the 80s were the era of decadence, and I would say ECW was the era of extreme decadence. But on any level. You know, it's funny. You can hear so many stories, and Bob Backlund is probably the most normalist man I've ever met. He's crazy, but he's normal. No, he doesn't drink, he doesn't smoke, he doesn't do anything, and he's just like, when I would tell him stories or anything, he'd be like, I don't know why people would ever want to challenge a wrestler to do anything. Like, if you think about it, like Bubba Ray Dudley was one of my best friends. I've told, in ECW we had a whole different code. Be like, hit me as hard as you can, break a steel chair over my head. And if you didn't hit me hard, it's like, okay, I'm gonna hit you even harder. Like, you know, I used to get whipped into guardrails to break them, like steel guardrails, and then the next night I would tell the ring crew, put the guardrails the other way, because I wanted to break that. And, you know, and if fans were in the way, seriously, we could never have made it. I mean, we threw Spike, hey, here's a crowd of people, we would throw Spike Dudley on you. and you'd have to catch them. And if you didn't catch them, the audience would want to beat you up. You know, the audience was such a part of ECW, and you know, you guys, we were, you know, wrestle in front of you, bleed in front of you, and then go party in front of you. So it was a great time. Robbie, you got anything? Me and Robbie used to room together in TNA.
Now, Robbie, you've had a chance now working in TNA to work with Bubba Ray, Bully Ray now. What his influence in the locker room as well as some of those other veterans. Talk about the importance of that and having them guys kind of helping the young guys along.
Well, it's good to have one guy like Bully Ray who everyone's scared of, just so that if something does go down in the locker room or someone makes a mistake or someone does something wrong, which a lot of times is me or someone acts stupid, you know. You have a guy like Bubba who could take you to wrestler court and put you into place. So it's good to have fear of one wrestler in the locker room just to keep everybody in check. But I'm not scared of Bubba. I think he's a big teddy bear. He's not gonna see this, right?
I got a question in the back row here.
Yeah, this goes to either of you. If you could have a manager, anyone from the past or present, who would it be and why?
I've always had Beulah McGillicuddy. She's my life manager. Francine, who was one of the best managers in the business, babyface or heel. I've had a lot of great managers. All women, because I like women. Robbie, you've had a lot of male managers, correct?
Well, if there's one manager that I would quit wrestling if she had to manage me again, that would be Cookie. My God.
To answer your question, the two greatest managers to me, Paul Heyman was an amazing manager. If you go back, I will text him, like I'll watch stuff from like Memphis or like even like Florida Championship Wrestling. He was always good. AWA Classics, I'd be like, man, you look like, what's his name? Bill Murray's brother. But yeah, no, Paul had a lot of hair then. But he was great, and Bobby Heenan, man. I was just with Bobby Heenan. And he has a hard time communicating, but his wife is right there, and now she finishes all his jokes, and it's just, I hate seeing him the way he is, but he's still Bobby Heenan, and that's what I love about him, and I know that I have my father had 5 masters, and he contracted Parkinson's disease, and I remember when me and my mom and everyone, we'd walk into restaurants, and my father, his hands started curling, and people would think that he was mentally, challenged, and why is this woman and my mom's still very attractive, why is this woman with this, and I'd hear, oh, he's retarded, and I was like, my father had 5 masters, and that, I never look at people differently, and just like Bobby Heenan, he still looks like that to me, and that's how you got to treat people.
Now, Tommy, you referenced Paul Heyman, and it's very hard for anybody to be neutral on him. They either love him or they dislike him a lot, but his footprint on wrestling is huge. Talk a little bit, not just as a manager, but Paul Heyman as the promoter, as your boss, as a man in general.
He taught me a lot. I credit him for the majority of the stuff that he helped me. I mean, he helped build Tommy Dreamer. When Paul would be very hands-on with you, and then once, like with me, he's like, once you got it, he would like kind of let you go. He would see the rest. For every independent wrestler in here, this business is not based upon your talent. It sucks. When WCW, when WWE, and when ECW around the business or territories, the business was based purely on talent. And that's why, because there were so many places to work, all that stuff. If you were not a good wrestler, you were just an enhancement talent or getting beat up. Now, the business, there's really only one place to work. No offense. But there's only really one place to work to make a great living, and the wrestling business is based upon what the person in charge, who at the chart, if they like you or not. That's it. That's the saddest thing in the world. The business isn't like I live in New York. Alex Rodriguez, the highest paid baseball player, the Yankees want to trade him or get rid of him. You know why? He's hurt or he's got all these issues. If you can't perform, real sports, they don't have it. But unfortunately in wrestling, if you can't perform, but if the top person in that spot likes you, you have a job or you're getting pushed on television. So it's not, and I know I wrestle there every weekend, sometimes 3-4 times a week, and I meet a lot of very, very talented guys, and they're, trying to catch a break. You gotta keep on trying, and because hopefully it could always change. And, when Paul had it, Paul didn't care. Sandman was the worst wrestler, but the people loved him. Sandman was like the bruiser and the crusher from this era. Drink beer, and Sandman was tough as can be. 911 was, Paul Heyman invented the chokeslam. Most people don't know that. He was like, you take the guy by his throat, pick him up, drop him. And 911 was a huge guy. He was the biggest guy in the company, and the Pro Wrestling Illustrated Rookie of the Year, when those awards meant something and everything. And he once he wanted to wrestle, Paul hid your weaknesses and promoted your positives. And that's how it should be. If you think about the wrestling business now, the most talented guy in the roster is Dolph Ziggler, and finally he won the title, and look how the audience erupted for it. But he's a bad guy. Dolph Ziggler could be the biggest baby face in that company next to Shawn Michaels, but I don't know what they see in Dolph, but that's okay. But you got to understand it. It's no longer based. Your talent means something to you guys, and I was in the meetings where Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio, they're midgets. They'll never do anything. They're the most talented guys in the world. But it's not fake, but it's based upon. They could say this guy right here with his eyes closed is the next heavyweight champion in the world. Yeah! And guess what? If they want to do it, they'll make him the next heavyweight champion in the world. But you got to keep on plugging away. He was sleeping. I had to call him out on that. He's been drinking. I know, I'm only playing.
We've got time for a few more questions. Anybody got? I feel like I'm hogging the microphone here. Here you go.
Just a question of what has been the best rib that was ever played on you, or the best rib that you've seen played on someone else? Both of you guys, if you want to comment on that.
You don't have anyone, Robert? Rib is a practical joke that other wrestlers play upon.
Now that I first learned what it is, I gotta think of one.
And ribbed is for her pleasure.
Wait, you actually use condoms, bro?
You don't have any stories?
I told you, when I'm up here with you, I'm nothing.
Original ECW, Battle Royal, Wildwood, New Jersey. There was a wrestler named the Rockin' Rebel.
I actually know him.
Paul wasn't a big fan of his, and we did the thing, if whoever wins the Battle Royal gets to face Shane Douglas and to wrestle the ECW title. Paul takes the wrestler aside, Rockin' Rebel, and tells him he's gonna win the Battle Royal and then win the title that night, and he's gonna make him the champion, promote him, and just change the face of the company all upon him. He's all amped up. Of course, don't tell anybody, whatever. Rebel leaves, Paul grabs the locker room, and before, also in wrestling, there was no ever wrestler meetings before shows. That was another thing that happened in ECW. So all you wrestlers have to sit through those BS meetings. That's ECW's fault as well. So we get Paul tells all the wrestlers, listen, no matter what you do, I don't care. I want the Rockin' Rebel out first. So, and he tells us this is why, some people didn't like I like Chuck. I never had a problem with him. But he rubbed Paul the wrong way, whatever. So we have this battle royal. He comes out last, and we're all like a pack of wild dogs ready to, jump on this guy. So at first we're all playing with him, trying to like get him out, and then he starts kind of fighting back, and he's in the ring with 19 other guys. So now he's getting pummeled in the battle royal, and they really put him over the top rope, and he's holding on to the top rope, and guys are biting his fingers, stomp him out, and he comes in the back, and he's just like, what the fuck? Sorry for my language, young man. What the hell? He's like, what the hell are those guys, blah, blah, blah. And Paul just looks at him and goes, I said, get back out there, I'm putting the title on you. So now, and here he comes back. So he comes back, and like, I liked him, so I go, dude, you're getting set up, it's a rib. Get out before you get hurt. I mean, he started like sliding in, and guys are baseball slide kicking him and like, beating the crap. So that was a good one that we were a part of.
In the shadow of ECW came a lot of companies like CZW, XPW. One of them that I remember the most was kind of a strange one that didn't really last too long, but Propane Pro Wrestling. And that's where I first saw was it Rob Echoes. And now how was it being, not as tan as you are now, how was it being the transition from Rob Echoes to now? Like, I know you said that this is your lifestyle, this is how it is, but what was it like being there in an ECW kind of offshoot?
Well, that was maybe when I was 2-3 years into wrestling. So I was, I guess, 19. So that was like really new to me. That was like pretty much out of wrestling school. It was one of the first like promotions that I worked for. But it was cool for me being around like, who was it? Blue Meanie, Jasmine Sinclair, Sabu, Sandman, New Jack. They brought a lot of cool guys in, so it was cool being around them just to get a chance to wrestle some of them and hear their stories and stuff. But as far as when I was Rob Echoes, I mean, it was a different name, Rob Echoes, Robbie E, but I was pretty much always the same guy. I was tan back then. I went to the gym back then. I wore the same kind of stuff. So I was really always Robbie E, just without the name,
If you think about, if ECW was still around, Robbie E would probably be the top heel in the company. One, because he was, it was based out of Philly, he was Jersey, but also like Steve Corino really ascended in the company because of his anti-hardcore stuff. I mean, if he walked in on a ECW stage, Sandman would kill him, and guys, Just Incredible was a huge heel. Robbie would probably be a huge heel in ECW. We don't like him to begin with here on a seminar or whatever this Q&A. I mean, what the hell?
We got time for a couple more. Here we go.
Go ahead. All right, I'm kind of old school. When I was about 6 or 7 years old, my big hero then was Wahoo McDaniels and Ric Flair. Not so much him, but definitely Wahoo. And I understand now that Wahoo's son is wrestling. Did you ever have any dealings with him?
No, I didn't even know he had a son. I know Ric Flair will say he's one of the toughest guys he ever. Most of the guys always say Wahoo's one of the toughest. But no, I didn't even know he was wrestling.
What advice would you have for there's a lot of wrestlers in this room, there's a lot of fans that have always dreamed about being a wrestler. What advice would you both give anybody in the business or anybody who wants to get into the business?
My advice would just be that I think guys just think that if they're on a wrestling show and they have like a really good match, they think they're going to make it in wrestling. And for the most part, if, for instance, if this show took place tonight, Vince McMahon or Dixie Carter is never going to see this match. It doesn't matter. I'm not saying not to have good matches, but I think you need to realize to take care of each other more and to realize it's a cosmetic business and to don't forget about working on your body and your look and your character and speaking. And just having a great match isn't always going to get you a job somewhere. That's my opinion.
Sadly, body is a big issue now. Again, like it's a different era, but cosmetically, you have to look the part. I go to a lot of shows, and not one person really ever asked me to watch their match or anything like that. If you have a veteran in the locker room, like Corporal said it before, you know, I was blessed to have Paul Heyman hold my hand for the early part of my career. But when I was on the indies, I would wrestle Tony Atlas, Kevin Sullivan, Rick Martel, Greg Valentine, and the indies were a little different. Like everybody would wrestle hard and all that stuff. But you know, a lot of guys I'll see, like I was just on a card. I've been on cards where like, what was it? Hacksaw Jim Duggan, this guy, that guy. You can learn something from everybody. And if not, you could say, all right, if that guy's a jerk, or you know, you got to kind of test the waters on some guys. Like, if someone asks me to watch their match, I'll say, okay, I'll try, and then they don't let me know when they're on. Or I'll be there and I'll be like, I'll watch this, but then I'll walk away. But it happens even in WWE. Like a lot of people, I remember me and Taker were talking about it. Like a lot of people would ask him to watch their match, and they were just doing it because they wanted to get over with him, not really to learn from him. And I got it a lot too. The only people who, hey, could you watch my match? And I would critique them, and then the very next night they would do the same exact thing. So then basically just trying to do it just to get over with me. But take something from anybody that has made it on television just for a little bit. You know, you guys talk about like Marty Jannetty. There was no difference between Marty Jannetty and Shawn Michaels worker-wise. But how come Shawn made it? Marty didn't. Could have been from behind the scenes or whatever. But there's a lot of little nuances that I see a lot of guys do on the indies and they don't get it. Or there's so many good guys out there. There's nothing wrong with being an independent pro wrestler. You're living your dream. Like a lot of guys don't take it serious. Somebody's paying to see you perform. Give that audience something great. My first ECW show, 34 people. And I had a job for 8 years because 4 people stood in the back and gave me a standing ovation. That's how my career started in ECW. And like a lot of guys will come up, and I take pride in what I do, and I always did, and guys should too. People have paid money to see you wrestle. Your first autograph, your first anything, act like a professional in and out of the ring. And if you want to be a mess up or something, do that on your own time. But you can learn from this business is different than like baseball or because, let's say baseball. Alex Rodriguez can't play with Mickey Mantle, but I got to tag with Dusty Rhodes, who was my hero. I get to hang out with Terry Funk or Mick Foley. It's a different business. And also, when Robbie says have respect for other guys and stuff, when it comes to blood in the year, 2013, when there's hepatitis, there's, all sorts. When you're wrestling with guys you don't know their history, you don't know all that stuff, you maybe not want to stay away from that type of stuff, just because you don't know that person. You don't know that history of that person, so.
Any other questions? Couple more still squeezed in here. We got one over here.
Just one quick one for Tommy. Whatever happened to Colin Delaney?
I just seen him recently. He's still wrestling. He's still in the indies. Colin Delaney was. I always tell him that if there was a wrestling like behind the music VH1 special of the wrestling business, they should do the life and story of Colin Delaney, because the business ate him up and spit him out before he was like 20-something years old. He just had a short run. And also on the same day, I worked behind the scenes at WWE. The same day that they said they didn't want anyone who wasn't under 6'2", 220 pounds in shape to be there as an extra, was the same day Colin Delaney got hired. So that's the craziness of that whole world. But no, he's still around. I took him to his first strip club. I took him to his first bar. And then I remember losing him on Bourbon Street at 4 o'clock in the morning. And now he doesn't drink, he doesn't smoke, he doesn't do anything. He's back on the straight edge path of his life, which is good. I don't drink or smoke, never have. Never done drugs either. My drug is wrestling in life, because life is too short. Yes, my friend, you have a question. The first object I got hit with? A wooden spoon by my mother. And I remember another time she went to hit me with it, and I put my hand up, and it broke over my forearm, and I was like, that was the first object. And I also got hit with a wiffle bat once by a friend.
Tommy, any regrets as you look back at your career? Anything you'd like to do differently, or anything you would have liked to do that you didn't get a chance to?
I get asked that a lot. I have no regrets. When we were doing everything in ECW, we didn't know Paul Heyman was in cahoots with WWE the whole time, which I get it now, especially if you saw that promo that he did with Vince, you know, about him lying and doing all that stuff. I get it. If he would have told me or told any of the guys that like he was in cahoots with them, I mean, I'd gotten offered a crazy amount of money to leave to go to WCW, and more money than I think I'd ever see in my lifetime, but they just wanted me because I would have hurt ECW. But I didn't need money, I was hardcore. And but at times I think about the money, but then I think about that ECW is my legacy, I'm proud of it, and it's also, I'm still making money. I mean, I just hosted a new WWE DVD from it. It's what people remember me for. I have, you know, everything in my life because of it, so it all worked out in the end. And, you know, I know a lot of guys are getting bitter or mad, but you can't be. It's the best business in the world, and when you start getting bitter or mad at it, you need to just walk away from it and step away and just think about when you were a fan, because that'll help you either love it or just observe it or just stop watching it.
Okay, we got one last question right over here, and then we'll let you guys head out.
Sure you don't want to do this one, man? All right, well, a couple things here. Robbie E, you're missing a bro right now. Robbie T left you, man. So, are you gonna get a new bro, or are you gonna get a new attitude?
I am. Well, I'm gonna keep the attitude, but I'm gonna look for a new bro, and the most important thing I'm gonna do is actually try and win a match in the next year. That is my goal. For the next 365 days from today, I will at least win one match, I promise you.
That's a good goal.
Or broette. Zack Ryder probably be fired soon, so why don't you get a pro ski?
That's a word.
And Tommy, speaking of Undertaker, how was swallowing his tobacco spit in 2002 like?
That was during the whole Jackass era. I used to do stupid things in high school and college for money, like eating stuff off the floor. Nothing disgusts me, nothing grosses me out, except rooming with Robbie sometimes. Robbie likes very heavy-set women, by the way, just to let you know. Anyway, no, so those are just, the worst part about that was the week before, where I was supposed to do that in vignettes, and I had to keep on doing it, and the WWE kept ribbing me, and I was supposed to go wrestle the Big Boss Man, and before I wrestled the Big Boss Man, I had to do this, and if you keep swallowing tobacco, you start getting ill and dizzy and all that stuff. And Boss Man had a very weak stomach, and he was sitting there watching me, like, be like, and then when I got to the ring, I started getting like head spins and everything, and I told him, dude, if I throw up, we just gotta, you know, hit me with the Boss Man Slam. And he was like, if I throw up, you hit me with the DDT. And this was on Heat, and it was actually Boss Man's last match, but that was the worst part of it. But the best part, I think I got paid like about $7 grand to do that, and I then also got to wrestle The Undertaker a few times, so no regrets.
All right, before I let you guys go, there's an anonymous question from one of the guys in the back. They want to know who the midget was in that road story you were telling about with the
I cannot tell a lie.
Please tell.
No, I can't tell. Nope, I can't do it. He may or may not live in this state that I'm in right now.
I'll just text him. It'll be short.
Short stack.
Shield it. Yeah.
Gentlemen, I want to thank you guys for your time. It's been our pleasure. We thank Robbie E, Tommy Dreamer.
No problem. Hey, I want to thank you guys for supporting independent wrestling and also for sitting through something like this. I know you all came to watch a wrestling show, and I have a lot of respect for you guys for sitting here and just listening to a bunch of people talk. And thank you very much. Robbie wants to give you a lap dance, by the way. He's sexy and you know it. Go give her a lap dance.
Let's go double team her. Come on.